to get that out.
Yo,
I don't know. I don't know. I think you got that out right on the time of the start. But guys, welcome
Right
into the
before-
post-game show. Texas survives and advances back-to-back weeks. We are like a cat with 9 lives at this point. I made a bet with someone in the Michigan sphere about Texas making the playoff after like week 2, and he's, shouted me out on Twitter the last 2 weeks, and I've just been saying, hey, we're not out yet. We're not out yet. But what did you guys think of this game? Gerald, I'll let you go first.
I mean, if you, depending on when the live stream kicked on, you know how I feel about this game. But like it was, I don't even know what I just watched. Like, what did I just watch? The offense looked abysmal, and then it just all of a sudden didn't. Like, we've talked about it over and over again. Like, this offense works better when it's up tempo. This offense works better when it's in the hurry up. It's when it's looked best all season. We saw it against Ohio State. We saw it again tonight. They were wide open, running the ball, slinging the ball down the field, letting Arch just kind of get into the flow. And that's when the offense was really able to get going. It minimized what the offensive line struggles were for Texas. It got some space. Trey Wisner was able to get some space in the running game. Like, all those things. This is an offense that really, like, I don't know what it's going to take for Steve Sarkisian to, like, realize, like, stop trying to figure out what, like, stop trying to force this to be something it isn't, right? Like, we now see what this offense should be. So, like, that to me, wild. I honestly, frankly, thought the team quit like in the third quarter. It looked, the body language is bad. All of those things look terrible. Apparently, I've got those reactions turned on my computer as well. But like, it looked like the team had quit at some point. And then all of a sudden they didn't. The defense forced, multiple punts. They forced 4, I think, 2 3 and outs, a punt, and then the obviously turnover on downs and overtime. Like, that's a team that, again, did not quit very clearly, got their heads back on straight, and really kept things in the game. Like, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still sorting through my feelings.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. I'm still figuring this stuff out. I had a whole monologue of negative things I was going to say, had to throw that script out because we somehow won the game. I think this is a good indication that despite all the outside noise, this team is still willing to fight, even when, I mean, for a minute there, I agree with you, Joe. I thought the team kind of quit a little bit. I mean, after the 3 and outs and 3 and outs and 3 and outs, it was like, at some point, this team's just going to give up and the dam's going to break. And it felt like it was going to, and they just kept making plays. I mean, I'll be honest with you, my culture, my Texas culture for myself was not here. I went to Chick-fil-A in the middle of the third quarter, and I came back and Texas was back in the game, and I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, a win's a win. There's a lot of things that have to be fixed. This defense, without Michael Taft, looked a little bit shorthanded out there today, and they switched to a more aggressive style, blitzing more. We were able to get some stops. We had a ton of sacks. Shapen took a bunch of negative plays. So it was a great adjustment from Pete to just say, hey, sticking in coverage, man, zone's not working right now. We need to get after the quarterback and make him think twice, and it worked. And then offensively speaking, like, man, in the fourth quarter, that offensive line played a lot better. It was terrible for 3 quarters. I mean, constant pressure. And it felt like they finally figured it out a little bit better where, there wasn't so many free rushers. It was blocked up a lot better. And so there's some positives to take away from this fourth quarter. I don't want to just gloss over how, Mississippi State's a good football team. They should have beat Tennessee. They should have beat Florida. Frankly, they should have beat Texas. If they give them all those wins, that's a 7-1 football team. But, they didn't do that. So somehow Texas wins this game. I love the fight of this team. But like you said, Jared, I'm still scrambling to figure out what actually happened in this game.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you guys because at some point in the third quarter, I thought the defense definitely quit on their last touchdown to give them 38 points after we drove down and scored to cut the lead. Like, the defense looked like they just tapped out. And to their credit, when the offense scored again, it was like the defense woke up and said, "Oh,
they're good.
Yeah, we're all right." And we got a 3 and out. Arch throws a dot in the back corner of the end zone. We get another 3 and out. We scored. It was, to everyone's point, I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to think. I know what I saw. But big credit to those guys for showing up when we needed them. Like, that's 2 weeks in a row that defense has showed up in critical moments. And when we needed stops, we got stops. When we needed pressure, we got pressure. Of course, there are things that we need to clean up, especially in the secondary. But yeah, I'm kind of in awe of what I saw in the fourth quarter, because I just want, where was that the other 27 quarters we've played over the last few weeks? Like, where was that? Because that emotion, that passion, that grit, that toughness, that's what separates football teams. Schematically, everyone does the same stuff. It's only but so much you can do on the field, but it's the small details and things like that that separates football teams. And this Texas team, for what it lacks in talent and maybe execution, makes up for in toughness and grit.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, again, to the culture. You know, you talked about Mississippi State, Josh, and they're a team still trying to find out how to win these close games. And Texas, for whatever reason, is able to do that under Steve Sarkisian. We've seen that. And I think that shows that, like, we're not who we're supposed to be, I guess people can say, but this is still a solid football team that finds a way to win. That's what we are. So I think you're going to just have to get used to that for this year. We'll probably end up going 8-4, 9-3, maybe. But they're going to, I think they're going to fight. I think that's what you're going to see. You're never going to see a team that quits. You know, that was the issue I had with like Tom Herman and those guys. Their teams quit a lot of the time. This team has not done that. So I think that's very impressive so far. Also, let's jump over to the good, and let's just start out with this. Ryan fucking Niblett. Ryan effing Niblett. The man, All-American, All-SEC. The way he set up his blocks on that was insane. Beautiful. Like, there's very few guys at the college level that set up their blocks like that on a kick return. So all hats off to him. He has won us basically 2.5 football games by himself. So props to you, man. You deserve everything you're getting. Thank you. Thank God he stayed. Thank God, because we'd be bad if he did not stay.
Like I said on Twitter last week that like Ryan Niblett's going to break a record at Texas. And someone was like, what about the guys from the last several years? He is now 2/3 of the way to breaking the punt return record. Literally the career record at Texas is 3 and that man has 2 and he almost had one last week. Like that is, and it's just, it's a skill that you can't really teach. Like what he does, it's vision, it's instinct, it's acceleration. And the thing, I pointed this out to some friends of mine. One of the things I loved about his punt return that most people are going to gloss over is the hand switch halfway through when he knew he was breaking away. Yeah. Like he saw, it's like, I got a moment. Let me switch hands, get it to the outside hand because he didn't want to get robbed as he ran into the end zone. Like those little things. Like I was really mean to Jeff Banks like 3 weeks ago. Those are things that won, like, he took advantage of the talent. He got that guy coached up because, again, like those little things, the way, the vision, the movement, like you can't teach those things. And so now that he's getting the technique along with it, like the sky's the limit for him. I'd love to find a way for Texas to get him more involved on the offense. But if this is all he does for Texas, I say all. If this is what his career is for Texas, he's an all-timer.
Yep.
I want to talk about Matthew Caldwell. I mean, my God. The balls on this guy. We're talking overtime. You got a penalty on the long after a really good run on first down. Now you're backed up 2nd and 6, and he throws one of the best fade balls I've seen Texas throw in actually like a long time. Because Quinn was never really great at those. He had a couple that were really nice, especially to A.D. Mitchell. But I mean, that was a absolute dime where only his guy could get it. And then shout out Emmett Mosley, who had, frankly, a really good game. 4 catches, 53 yards, and the 2 touchdowns. And I mean, that touchdown catch was just, it was a thing of beauty. So the execution in overtime when it mattered most was beautiful stuff. And of course, I think the story of this game, and rightfully so, should be Arch Manning. I thought Arch played really good, and I thought he had 3, maybe 4 drops out there, including the interception. That was a beautiful throw ball to Livingstone. Maybe he should have thrown it, but beautiful throw. You got to catch that ball. He didn't catch it. That's his only, flaw in his thing. I thought this was a really good game from Arch. Despite the fact he got sacked 5 times, despite the fact there was no ground game, despite the fact that for 3 quarters he was getting sacked and hit after every single play, he was balling. I really like what I saw from Arch.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you guys. I'm gonna give some credit to the return unit. Again, in order for a good punt returner to exist, he got 10 other guys working their ass off to give him lanes. And like you see it now after the Oklahoma return, like those guys get excited because they know what he's capable of. And when you have that kind of explosive returner as a blocker, your job is to just not get a flag, because if he gets a crease in any sort of space, he's gone. And like you saw that, like guys were just throwing their hands up. Oh, I didn't touch him. He's, and like, to me, that's that's coaching, and that's those guys taking that coaching. And yeah, man, Arch played lights out. I mean, this is the Arch everyone thought we would see week 1. But he needed to grow, and like you see the growth, because to Josh's point, it's the toughness. He was taking some shots out there, and he just kept ticking. He just kept going. Like his poise and his maturity to handle adversity, like really trickles down to this team, I think. And they have his demeanor, which is good. Like they're very just level-headed. Like you don't see guys on the sideline cursing each other out, getting mad. You don't see the flooding arms when it's a touchdown. It's just kind of, all right, let's figure it out, slow down, and just breathe. And like guys do it. So big shout out to Arch. And Texas D-line played lights out. Like we had a couple runs that, leaked through, but for the most part, when you're talking about stopping the run and creating pressure, once they settled down and were able to like catch their breath from that tempo, that D-line, Ethan Burke to me was a stud tonight. Anthony Hill played great as well, but Ethan Burke, like, because he's not a pretty athlete, like he kind of gets overlooked on that D-line. Alex January played lights out. Like those guys were able to create penetration, disruption, set the edge. Like they did all the little things that led to big plays for either them or someone else. So great job by that Texas D-line.
Yeah, you got to shout out like Duncanville, right? Because Colin Simmons and Alex January, both of them, that defensive line was nasty. But and even like Murad Watson, Hero Canoe, those guys, the interior of the defensive line. I've talked about it. Yeah, I've talked about it multiple times. Like when this defense is playing well, it's really because what the inside is able to do. Because your job in that spot is to just keep Anthony Hill and Leon Galefau clean. Like you occupy a couple of blockers, let your linebackers make plays. And so when those guys are also getting sacks and tackles for loss on top of it, that's found money. That is just cherry on the sundae. I'm gonna say something controversial here, and we have to talk about the Ryan Wingo of it all, right? In this, right? Because Ryan Wingo goes for almost 200 yards on 5 catches, but also has 3 drops. Like the good of it, Ryan Wingo, he was a playmaker in a lot of spots, right? Like that opening touchdown was huge, and we have to acknowledge what he brings to the table, but also the drops. It's like it's one of those weird, like you have to take the good with the bad.
300.
Right, he would have had 300, especially, but like even just the wide receivers overall, DeAndre Moore looked better than I think he did all season. He blocked way better than I think he's done all season. I don't know if Chris Jackson, was all up in him this week or whatever it might be, but like he played really well as well. Obviously, Emmett Mosley in overtime, like the wide receiver. This is more of what we wanted to see from this wide receiver group. I would love to see more from them. You obviously got to figure out why Ryan Wingo doesn't trust his hands, but outside of that, like the wide receivers were a plus, I think, for the first time all year.
No, I agree with that. We still don't get enough production from the tight end position. That's something I don't know if we're going to get this year. Just honestly, I don't think we have the talent in that room for whatever reason. Jordan Washington is inconsistent. Jack Andrews has just gone completely AWOL. We don't draw anything up for him, and then he doesn't get enough separation in his routes either. Nick Townsend, I honestly think at this point should get a little bit more run, but I agree. I think this was the best wide receiver played game of the whole year for Texas. So that's really good to see. And I think we should just go 4 or 5 wide from now on and run tempo. I think that's when we do our best work.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Wingard made some plays. The drops were killer. There's just a couple of drops throughout the game that, if you catch those passes, it keeps the chains moving, and who knows how this game ends up going. Some of those, like the Parker Livingstone one, that was an interception. That could have been a plus drive. So those were tough, but I really thought they made a lot of plays out there. So, I thought they made enough plays to overcome some of the drops. When it comes to the running backs, it's hard to put a lot of it on them when they're running into a brick wall for half the game, but when they did get a sliver of a lane, I thought they made some plays out there. And I hope that when Baxter gets his legs back and going, he can find more consistency down the field and making more plays as a more power back. And, Trey Wisner can sort of spell him a bit more. So that's something to work on. And, I totally agree. I talked about Anthony Hill a little earlier. I thought Hill was everywhere. He was 2.5 sacks, 3.5 tackle for loss, 10 total tackles. I mean, I thought he was the best player on the field the entire game. I just thought he was a consistent presence no matter what. I felt like I never looked at anything he did and said that was a mistake on his part. He was just incredible for me out there. And I think he deserves to be probably a first-round pick this year.
Jelani McDonald.
Ways around that. Woo.
Jelani McDonald played his ass off tonight.
He did.
And in terms of like missing Taft, like of course you missed him because it takes away from that defense in terms of communication, leadership, and just his overall ability. But ever since he missed that tackle versus Oklahoma, that like which was their biggest play of the game, ever since he missed that tackle, he's been like lights out in that regard. Like he was physical. It was a series where they got like 8 or 9 yards on second down. He got a really good tackle. It was a nice strong tackle that stopped him from getting the first down. They run it on third. He gets another tackle. They go for it on fourth. He gets another tackle. And I'm just like, okay, like he's dialed into his role because he was Taft tonight. Like they moved him to be closer to the line of scrimmage and he excelled. So big shout out to Jelani McDonald. Like wasn't overly impressive in terms of like critical key plays until you really dial in on the film and saw how many stops he had that prevented first downs.
No, I agree. I think those are the players. Let's jump over to that were good. Let's jump over to the bad. Tackling. I mean, my God, especially the first half, it reminded me of Florida so much. We missed so many open tackles. The one that I think was the second half was when Chapin flipped it out to Booth, and he like LaFau had an angle and he completely whiffed. Like he just stuck out his arm. Is like, oh, this will get him down. And no, it won't get him down. Actually, yeah, that was a really bad play because I mean, that's where I thought the game was over. I thought that was the play. I was like, okay, well, this game's over. But came back and won. But I think that was the number one thing that stood out to me was the tackling. What about you guys?
I'll stick with the offensive line. I mean, I hate to be a stickler and I hate being that guy, but I mean, look, the offensive line.
Be that guy.
Yeah, I know. Offensive line, let me pull the numbers here. They gave up 5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss. They ran the ball 32 times for 72 yards. I think some of that was Arch as well, but it's just not enough productivity there. And they made some adjustments. They put Stroh. He actually played right guard for a lot of the game because of the DJ injury. DJ comes back. They take out Nick Brooks. They put Stroh at left guard. And it felt like that made it a little bit better. I'm not saying Stroh balled out or anything because he did not, but I thought he made enough of an impact there and maybe a little bit better than Nick Brooks. So I just feel like that left guard position, they're just going to ride the hot hand between Brooks and Stroh and quote unquote hot hand. Just which one's less worse, basically.
Use that term very
But it's clear to me. It's clear to me they miss Cole Hudson quite a bit. And I don't think Cole is incredible or anything like that, but he's a lot better than Connor or Robertson. So they're missing him a lot out there. And, Baxter still getting back from his hamstring injuries. Hamstrings are, always tough to come back from. So I can give them a little bit of a pass there. But, I mean, Mississippi State's one of the worst interior defensive lines against the run. I mean, teams have been running all over them, and you had 72 yards against them. That's just – their longest run with the running backs was 10 yards. C.J. Baxter had a 10-yard carry. Trey had a 9-yard carry. Just no explosive plays in the run game. And it's tough because I know you have some talented backs, and I know they can make the big plays, but not being able to run the football is very disappointing. And not being able to keep Arch clean is also disappointing. It wasn't until the fourth quarter and overtime when they were able to, give him some clean pockets. And maybe they can build off that, but we said the same thing about Oklahoma, so I'm not really expecting it.
Yeah, I want to jump in on that because the offensive line I think is the biggest issue with this team right now for me is the offensive line. Like there's no two ways around it. Like you can put a decent quarterback behind a really good offensive line and win a ton of games, but you can't do the other way. We've seen it right now where you have a really talented quarterback that's behind a crap offensive line and they're struggling. Texas got stuffed. They only had 21 rushes by their running backs and 5 of those got stuffed. Third and shorts were abysmal. That's all on me. That in my mind, that's the offensive line. Like that is the offensive line getting bullied. Period. End of sentence. Like, and Texas got the win, but there needs to be some serious soul searching in that offensive line group. Kyle Flood needs to do some serious soul searching there as well. Like there are 2 issues here. Like how do you go into the season with this group and not realize what's going on? Either you're not paying attention or you're misevaluating, right? Those are the two things. Like, because the talk was that the offensive line was going to be good. They didn't really dip into the portal all that much. So either you're not paying attention or the evals are missing. And that's a development thing as well. Like, so that's all. Like, Kyle Flood came to Texas to get this offensive line shored up. For a couple of years, it was really good, but I think that average was floated by having 4 NFL guys on the line. Like, any offensive line, Herb Hand could probably not screw that up. So, like, I'm not sure how this unit is so bad.
Well, the bad for me is Mason Shipley.
Oof.
He missed from 29. Like, dude, if he hits that field goal, the game and everything else remains the same. We win in regulation.
Yeah.
Game over, because they didn't need a field, or they would have still needed a field goal and probably still mishandled the time how that offense did. So, you know what I mean? Like on that last drive, Mississippi State did everything they possibly could to go to overtime. So if we were up 3, I would have had all the confidence in the world that it would have ended similar to how the overtime ended, with a sack, a pick, something, because they mishandled that entire situation. But Mason Shipley has to, just like Arch, got to make the layups. Like, to me, for his leg strength, for somebody who's never missed inside of 50, to miss inside of 50 on a right hash kick that you've made from 45 plus, like, we need those. We can't not make points. Like, we need every point we can possibly get with this team, because we don't know. Like, it's too many unknowns and too many variables as to if we're going to play good, if we're going to execute, if we're going to make big plays, if we can run the ball. We don't know week to week. Week to week, like this week, we threw it all around. Next week, we come out, we might run for 200 yards. We don't know, because that's how inconsistent and up and down this offense is. Like, the talent's still the same, but which team shows up is different. But we need the same kicker to show up every week. We need guaranteed points once we cross the 30-yard line.
No, this team has to win on the margins. Like that's how this team is built. You have to win in the small things. And I think they've gotten better overall with, like, I think we actually did win the penalty game this time. Like, I think Mississippi State did end up with more penalties. So that is good. I think the last 2 weeks we've actually gotten a little bit better with that. But I think overall, like, I'm comparing it from dog shit to, average now. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're great.
We had 9 for 61.
Hey, it's just like the hot hand thing. It's all in perspective here.
Which one's worse?
But so a little bit better. And like, that's the thing too. The SEC, if you look around, guys, it's a 1-score league. Like, all these games are usually 1 score. So we have to win these little battles in the game to win these football games. Next week with Vandy is going to be like that. They run a very slow tempo, slow it down, convert third down style of offense. So we have to win on 3rd down and 4th down and nail our kicks. That's what we have to do. And that was bad. 29 is unacceptable at any level.
Yeah. To your point about the SEC, Ole Miss beat Oklahoma by 8 points. Alabama beat South Carolina by 7, in a game in which they were down for most of it. Vanderbilt beat Missouri, who had their backup quarterback, I believe, beat them by 7.
Yep.
Texas beats Mississippi State by 7. So, yeah, I mean, look, if there's any sort of moral victories that you play in the SEC where everything is close and you're not going to blow out these teams anymore. During the game, I said, I don't think Texas is going to make a bowl game. And, I'm wrong, which I'm happy about. I still look at the schedule, and I'm still a little not feeling particularly great about it, but I think we can win a couple games here. I think we can win a few. But I don't think we're going to go undefeated.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm still gathering my thoughts. I'm still processing. I think I've got an appointment with a therapist this week, so we're going to be good. Hopefully by next Saturday. Like, it's just again, is it fourth quarter Texas that shows up? Because if we can bottle what happened in that last 15 minutes, I don't know if there's a team in the country that can play with them. Like, period. The offense was wide open. They were running down the field. Arch was in the flow of the game. The defense played mean and nasty and downhill and got stops like that. If that team shows up for 4 quarters, it's a national championship level team. But they piss down their legs for 3 quarters and then have to do that. I'd much rather them be at this pace for more of the game, so I don't have to like get heart rate warnings from my Apple Watch every week. Like that, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this team, we know what we can do well in certain spots, but what's our identity? Are we going to drop back 40 times and let Arch dice people up? Like, are we built to do that? Not really. But to Gerald's point, if we speed up our tempo just a little bit, and to Matthew's point, let's play these receivers. Like, let these guys play, and let's spread people out and maybe open running lanes opposed to going 12 personnel and trying to create running lanes that aren't being created. Because the tight end room is not playing well as a whole. Like, they're not blocking well in the run or pass game. They aren't separating in passing concepts. They don't create in the screen game when they do get their opportunities. So, take them off the field. Let's go ahead and just spread people out, play a little faster. And because we have all these weapons, I think it makes us harder to defend when we make teams cover the entire width of the field. That, and I want to see a run game get going. And to me, the only way to do that is to take people out of the box by spreading people out. Because right now up front, we aren't good enough to just consistently create run lanes. Gerald just disappeared like Houdini, but it's all good. But yeah, so we have a lot to improve on, and we cannot keep playing just in the second half or just in the fourth quarter, because we started as fast as we wanted all year. That was the perfect start. And then we were like, okay, that was it. It was just kind of just like, oh man, like, no, keep going. Keep the foot on their neck.
So weird to me. Like, we opened the game with the swing pass touchdown. Then we open up the second half with I think it was like a swing pass / screen and friggin' gigantic play. And we really don't see that the rest of the game. Those are really the only 2 plays we run like that for Ryan Wingo. So it's like, why don't we do that? I don't know, 4-5 times a game. And I think we should run Arch more too. Like, I think he only ran the ball like design runs like 2 or 3 times. So there's certain things that
he was banged up.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's another thing we can get into. Like, if he's hurt next week, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Matthew Caldwell was 8 for 11 for 89, 80-something yards and a touchdown. Look, I'm happy that Arch had a big game, but that pass of Matthew Caldwell got me excited. I was like, oh, Matthew Caldwell can do that. So I have a question. What do you guys think? I mean, we're already kind of on the subject of play calling. What were your overall thoughts of the play calling through 1 3 quarters and then at the end of the fourth and overtime? Because I felt like it was almost 2 different game plans. The first one, conservative, run down their face, swing pass, screens, easy things for Arch. And then once that didn't work, he just kind of said, screw it. Let's go down the field, bit more tempo, bit more space it out, multiple receivers, and just sling the rock a little bit, basically. So I felt like he almost threw it out in a weird way, which is both a good and a bad thing. So I felt like, for me, it was weird in the first half, and then it kind of opened up a bit more in the second half.
Well, he had to.
Yeah, he had to.
Right. Because he was down 17. So like your game plan and your script and all that goes out the window just off the presence of we are running out of time and we need to score as many points as possible. I don't think he called like a terrible game. I just don't think we executed up front. Like at the point of attack, when we had double teams and we had pullers and just like we just didn't do well. Because like some of the stuff he called, I'm like, oh, I see why. Because they were doing a lot of stacking and twisting and looping. And the answer to that is get the ball out quick to the perimeter. But like it'll be a body in our face off of the play action or off of the RPO. It's just like you can't execute with penetration. Destroys any offense, no matter what style, right? Just so like he did abandon his game plan. And to your point, and like I've been saying it for a while, like I like tempo because I know what it does to a defense in terms of stress. And we saw tonight what our really good defense got stressed out by tempo, what it made us look like. So just take what our defense struggled with and do that is what I would think. I have a problem with how the defense was called. I thought that shit was terrible in the first half. Excuse my language. Thought it was god awful. We didn't pressure. We didn't play our brand. We let them play attacking offense, and then we had to play reaction ball, and that's hard for any defense. Opposed to just forcing the issue and say you have to throw the ball here, and the ball has to get out now, because that's all we did in the second half. We played a lot more man, and we sent 6 or we sent 5, and then we spied and looped. Like, play fast and attack. That is Texas defense. That's when we're at our best. When we have to sit back and play on our heels, we're not good because we don't tackle well. So it doesn't play to our strength. So I had a problem with the defensive play calling more so than the offense.
And I'm glad to be back, by the way. My hub for my computer just decided to stop working for a couple of seconds. But no, like, I don't know why Texas doesn't have the athletes to have to give 7 yards on every play. Like, defensively, like, they're playing so far off, and we knew what Mississippi State was doing. They were taking advantage of it. They were fine. This is the veer and shoot art. Like, they've been running this offense. Art Brow's been running this offense since I was in college, and I'm 40 years old. Like, we know what this is, right? Like, we've seen this before. And that to me is the big issue, because if you're going to be soft like that, teams are going to take it underneath, and we're going to see that. I think Eli Stowers is like watching this film and getting excited for next week at Vanderbilt, right? Like, that to me is something that I'm really curious about. I don't know why Texas doesn't have the athletes. You brought Dwayne Aquina back to kind of get these guys coached up and taught how to play better coverage, and they're just giving 7 yards. It's 3rd and 5, and you're giving 7 on the line. Like that. What are we doing?
Pissed me. I was happy. So when I text you guys, I'm trying to stay calm. I had cussed my dog out. I don't want to talk to anybody because, to Gerald's point, at 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, as a DB, I don't care what the coach calls. I'm pressing because every breaks happen around 5 to 6 yards. So common sense says, well, if he breaks at 6 and it's 3rd and 4, that's a first down. And we were just still, to your point, 7 yards off. Like, what? No, make him throw this vertical. Screw it. And it was pissing me off. So you notice how these guys had really wide splits, right? And they kept running slants. Well, they can't run out.
No.
Get inside. So I really had a problem with how they just played the entire night, because some of it is common. I don't care what the coach calls. Have some common sense. This dude is standing damn near on the sideline drinking water, and you're outside leverage because that's what you're supposed to do. No. Get inside. Why? Because he's running 2 routes. Slant, go. That's literally all they did. And then if they had relatively normal splits, they ran curls and hitches. I just watched that just from the game. No film. Pissed me off. Oh God, please don't get me started.
Well, it's kind of weird because
I don't need to go back there.
Last week versus Kentucky, I thought we abandoned the offensive game plan that worked versus Oklahoma. I thought this week we kind of abandoned the defensive game plan that worked versus Oklahoma, which was we were very aggressive. We blitzed, we got up in people's face. And I just don't understand why we do that. Again, when something is working, you make the opponent stop it multiple times first before you change. That should be with every freaking head coach. I do not understand that. Like, that's what, again, Belichick is getting hate now, but I watch this man every week change his game plan and force teams to stop something they weren't capable of stopping until they stopped it. I saw this man put Jonathan Gray versus the Colts and say, listen, you're going to run it 30 times. You're going to rush for 200 yards tonight because they can't stop you. And I just don't understand why no one else does that. It does not make any sense to me.
Let me tell you a secret about coaches. They think they're smarter than what they are. Because football is not hard.
No.
And like getting the message, because coaches know all this stuff, right? But the issue is they have to get it to the players. They have to know. It doesn't matter what we know as coaches, right? If our players don't know that it's 3rd and 4 and that they're probably going to run a quick game, the ball's going to come out fast, unless you put them in a defense to put them in that situation where you train them to a very specific way, how Belichick did, because all his defense were extremely intelligent. Like, you couldn't be dumb and play on his defense. Like he didn't have guys on his defense who didn't graduate college. Like, that was the level of intelligence he needed. but coaches overthink things. To your point, it's not hard. It's literally that. To your point, Belichick would do that every week, and coaches be like, "Oh no, let's get back to who we are." What? Just do what they can't stop. Mississippi State couldn't stop the run versus Tennessee, versus Florida, but all of a sudden versus us, because we want to do our conventional running game and not play into what they can't. Please.
I have a few things about the secondary real quick that I don't have the answers to, so I'm going to ask you guys. Number one, did Phil Simi take over Derek Williams? It feels like he kind of jumped him in the depth chart.
I think so.
Because he was playing a lot more than Derek. Derek only played a handful of snaps. And two, what do you guys think of Jalen Gilbo? Because you guys know I'm biased.
Oh my God. Nah.
I've been saying it since week one. No.
He was pretty bad.
That dude, I wanted to strangle the man after I saw, what was that, the 3rd and 15, where he gets lost and just floats over to the left side the whole time and leaves the right side wide open. And by the way, lined up behind the first down marker. He was lined up 17 yards off the line of scrimmage. Dude, that was
the swing pass?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he was covering a deep crosser.
No, there was another guy next to him that ended up covering that. There were two guys.
Yeah.
There were two guys covering one guy over there, and then there were two guys over here with nobody on him. I'm like,
not a soul.
Oh,
not a soul. But
I roasted the classes with that guy. I don't know why. I
don't understand your love. I've been saying this since week one when Carnell Tate plucked it off his head. No.
Well, to me, it's
ride out with the freshman and let's go.
He has the body type that reminds me of Jade a lot. And whenever I see him on the field, I'm like, oh, it's Jade Barron again. I'm like, wait, nope, that's
he doesn't have the ball skills at all that Jade has.
No, he doesn't. That's why I think he should play inside. But Grayson Littleton has really owned that position, and Littleton made some mistakes, but
he's going to be good. Like he has to know what the reps are looking for. Yeah, because he was in great position. Had he just looked up, he could have did everything exactly the same with his hands and looked up, they wouldn't have called it. So that's just time on task. But talent wise,
he's a freshman.
Yeah, he's gonna be so good. Like you see it.
By the way, you were right about Phil Simi getting it over Williams, but I didn't think he played well. I didn't think he played well at all in the first half. That's why I was kind of surprised by that. I don't know if Williams got more run in the second half. I saw him out there a little bit more, but I don't know how much more. But maybe that is the injury, him coming off of, and he just doesn't trust it yet. I don't know, but I didn't think Phil Smith played well.
Well, Phil Smith's kind of been used all over, where there are some points where he was playing in the slot and they put him at safety. So he's kind of just a weapon back there. I don't know. He's a young player with a lot of talent, so I'm okay with him getting the reps. Obviously, next year he's going to be probably a starter. So
yeah,
is he? Think so?
That'd probably be either him and Derek Williams, because I think Jelani's going pro. I think he's earning himself a paycheck. Although you might get a transfer, which
he should go pro. But no, I mean, the defense was disappointing because to Matthew's point, we didn't play to our strengths. We didn't do what has worked versus Ohio State versus Oklahoma, and even at times versus Florida. Be the aggressor, be the hammer, not the nail. We just sat back and just took 381 yards from Blake Shapen. And he made of the night, he made one good throw. One. And that was that touchdown on Manny Muhammad. But again, Manny Muhammad, he's damn near on the sideline. He can only go two places: vertical, inside. And he got beat.
That was vertically. That was a bad rep.
It was a terrible rep. I'm sitting there
this is probably his worst game this year, I'd say.
By far.
By a lot.
So
and he should have let up that touchdown in overtime too.
Yeah. If that's thrown out in front, he's never even touching Brennan Thompson.
No. Yeah.
It was the same thing. He's 7 yards off. They throw a 6-yard slant.
Yep.
And just runs away from it. You don't have to be good at receiver or quarterback to complete that. They weren't good. That's why they didn't complete it. But 381 yards, you cannot put that on tape. Nope. Not with Gunnar Stockton, Taylor Green, Marcel Reed, Diego Pavia coming up. Those are the next four. What? Those are problems.
Taylor just threw 3 interceptions. Maybe we can get a few.
We got to catch him.
True.
DJ Lagway threw 5 and he dragged it all
very
week.
true.
Right.
That is very true. That is very true.
Right.
That is very true.
He threw 5 the week before and was just like, watch this.
Throwing bombs on
Yeah.
us.
That's
He
the thing.
turned
Like
prime Manning.
Manny, that was one bad game. I can give him a pass, but I've seen Jalen Gilbo enough. I'm done. Like he needs to be benched. I'm out.
I've been saying.
But have you seen anything from Wardell Mack, Kobe Black, any of those guys that make you feel better?
I haven't seen the back
They
of
don't
their
get it
jersey as much as I've seen Jalen Gilbo's.
Because he's on the field
like
more, though.
this.
The only one that I think I would give
Warren
Cade
Roberson?
Phillips more reps, maybe, and I would say Warren Roberson. Those are the only ones.
He had
Kobe
some
Black's not ready.
insane closing speed on a couple plays that I didn't realize he had. Warren Roberson, like there were 2 plays. I'm like, whoa, he's got some closing speed. I'm 100% fine. Like with that, throw him out there and see what happens. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, he's a good player.
I would play Cade Phillips over.
I'm fine
Gilbo.
with that too.
I would play Roberson over Gilbo. Like just talent wise, they have more in their body. Just pure talent, and I like talent.
Fair enough.
So I do want to get to this because I think it's funny coming off this game. Question: should Arch be benched after this game? No, this is not the question.
What are you watching, buddy?
I was gonna say,
That one,
Should he be
That
benched?
that one.
You
pass
could have
is
asked
going to
that
be
last
like-
week.
yes, you could have.
That overtime pass is going to be like the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand for Texas football. Like it's just going to spark a war. It's ridiculous.
Well, and the throw versus Florida too. It's like those 2 throws.
Yeah,
the
I know.
one throw, the little moments he gets is like he's better than Arch. It's like, all right, guys, chill.
And Matthew Caldwell should never have to buy another drink in Austin ever again. Like,
Ever.
That guy, like, put him in the Hall of Honor, like, put him in the Ring of Honor for that throw. And apparently, in post game, apparently that was an audible. It was an RPO with 2 slants, and he called an audible to that route. So, like, good on him. Like, that is some professional mindset. And so, bump his NIL check. Like, Sark should just cut him up a couple $100 off. Because that guy's been overpaid at this point. Like.
He's the epitome of a good backup quarterback. That's what you want from your backup. A guy who can come in, command the offense, and he is talented to make certain throws and reads, whatever he's comfortable with, because he got to a play and a throw that he was comfortable with. Like he's a veteran. That's what we want. But shit, Arch went 29, 46, 3 touchdowns. Should have been like probably 35 or 46.
He had a rushing touchdown too.
Plus the rushing touchdown. Like,
They only counted him for 4. They only counted 4 drops for the wide receiver, but that doesn't include the Livingston one that went through his hand. So that should be a drop as well. Like that's not a stat
right.
Yeah. So like legitimately, he should be like 34 or 46 on this one, which is
with
nuts.
no interceptions,
probably like 380 yards passing.
And there was I didn't see a single throw except for the interception where he put the ball in harm's way. Like every throw he had one bad throw on a screen, but other than that, every throw was usually on the money for the most part. So
that's
he wasn't perfect, but
I've taken away from the last 3 weeks. He has not thrown any passes that should have been intercepted. He's thrown 0. Yeah. He's done a phenomenal job of taking care of the football. And that's what we need with the type of style we're going to have to win these games with. And then I wanted to get this one too, because I think it's funny looking back to back at these comments, like complete opposites. The O-line is horrible. Arch responded with the 6-man football mentality and improvised every positive play that was made in the second half. And I agree with that to a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain degree.
Yeah, I'm not saying he did every time, but I actually do think the offensive line played a little bit better in the second half. I also think that has a lot to do with Mississippi State being tired more than anything. But
really good point.
Tempo.
Yeah. 100%.
Who said it last week about the protection, about going 6 or 7-man protection? One of you guys last week.
I said that.
Yeah, so we did it in the first half and we gave up sacks because but in the second half, to your point, when we did it and they were tired, like guys were running scot-free with, it was still 7 men in coverage, but now we only got 3 out and we were just getting guys wide open. Like there's an art to his like him being a improviser, and I love it because he's way more comfortable once he leaves the pocket. He looks like a totally different dude.
He's got to find consistency though. It's far too inconsistent.
Yeah, it's a roller coaster.
I mean, when everything's inconsistent in front of you.
Yeah,
like,
of course, 100%.
That's because the touchdown, the last touchdown he threw, he stood there knowing he's about to take a shot, and delivered a dime. And then there's other times where I think he sees the pressure and is kind of expecting to get hit, and then he delivers a high ball or misses, and he doesn't get hit. So he has to play within like the realm of what's actually happening and not trying to foreshadow that these guys are going to miss this block.
It's a CJ Stroud effect.
And we talk about
him in Texas, Houston.
Yeah.
You talk about the inconsistency with Arch, but like he's a first-time starter. Like that's part of having a first-time starter at quarterback is the inconsistency. And like again, if it Arch being Arch, like there's all the mitigating factors on why we have these high expectations for Arch, but ultimately, like first-year starter playing in an offense that demands a lot from its quarterback, like inconsistency is kind of part of what it is. So like I'm more forgiving of some of that because frankly, anybody that knows Texas did not have these outsized expectations for Arch. We did not expect Arch to win the Heisman this year. So like, so like I'm more forgiving of some of that because again, he's a redshirt sophomore starting in Steve Sarkisian's offense, which requires a lot of a quarterback.
Behind the worst offensive line in the SEC.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's doing
worse than the SEC.
It's either them or South Carolina. That's it.
Well, to me, Lenore is one of the worst quarterbacks at evading sacks. He eats up so many. But yeah, that line sucks too.
Fair.
And it sucks because I do think like people have underrated our wide receivers. Like I think our wide receivers get enough separation. They create separation. They're getting open. Now, do they have to catch the ball sometimes? Absolutely. But overall, like, I don't know. Like, do you guys think at this point, and I've said this for a while, like, I think we just have to completely abandon 12 personnel. We can't do anything out of 12 personnel. It does not work.
Not for what we want to do, because if we had the weapons who could get open, then we could use them within tempo, and then you can formation the hell out of people because tight ends dictate strength and the run front and coverage. Like you could do a lot, but to your point, we get in 12 and it's run, it's play action, and it's all ineffective.
I don't know what Jordan Washington's deal is. I wanted him to be really good.
I don't wild, man.
Like
I don't know what's happening.
Because he put on the weight to, I think, be more effective in the blocking game, but he hasn't really improved his technique all that much. So, like, it's great that you're bigger, but your technique sucks. I'd rather you be as fast as you were 35, 40 pounds ago and work on your technique than put on the weight and still have bad feet and bad hands. Like that to me is more frustrating.
Yeah. I don't know. And then there's also the Spencer Shannon element of it, who's like a complete zero as a receiving threat. Like a literal zero. He can block a little bit, but he goes out on routes and guys laugh at him. Like that. It's nothing right there. I agree with the Nick Townsend stuff. I think he should get more reps.
Yeah.
If you're going to run 12 personnel, I like Jack Andrews and Nick Townsend because Washington he doesn't get it right now. He doesn't get it yet.
Right. Nah, I mean, 12 personnel, you would like to have both guys who can do both in a perfect world. But in a realistic world, you're going to have one run blocker, one receiver, and you're going to have heavy tendencies. I'm going to run to the run blocker. I'm going to throw, like, you know what I mean? Like it just kind of limits you to where if you just go 11 and now you rotate that tight end and you kind of do both, then to Matthew's point, 12 personnel is just not effective for us, like in any capacity.
And this is how I look at it too. So if you put in 12 personnel, you go 2 tight ends. What tight end are you choosing either over the fourth wide receivers are going to be Mosley or Livingston? There's no tight end on this roster I want out there over Livingston or Mosley.
Yeah, because we don't have that JT Sanders element no more, where you could throw JT out there and you knew if you give that guy the ball in space, he can make a play.
Right.
You get that ball to Jack Andrews at 15 yards, he probably loses 5 yards because he's just not that guy.
He has some heavy feet.
Yeah. He does.
He's
like
not a great blocker either. No,
it's weird. I mean, it's not to say he's not a good player. He's our best tight end right now, but we don't have a difference maker in that room.
It's like being the tallest person in my family, man. We're all super short. Like,
well, okay. Let me pose this question. Do you think it's the way the tight ends are being used, or like just, put out just in terms of like route displacement, calls, things like that? Because like most tight ends work in between the hashes. That's where they make their money. And like, to me, like we don't throw the ball there. We throw the ball outside the numbers.
A lot of where Sanders' productivity was those deep crossers. Like he would run those at least once a game, and almost every time Quinn would be on the money with them. I don't feel like we run those at all with the tight ends. Maybe we do, but Arch just isn't comfortable throwing it to them. But there would be so many times where, and JT would run these deep crossing routes, and I mean, there'd be nobody around him sometimes. I almost kind of wonder where that play has gone, or if we try to run it and just doesn't work with the personnel. I think it's more of a personnel issue more than a scheme issue, personally.
Yeah, I don't think we have anybody. I mean, it's not a controversial statement to say that I don't think Texas has a tight end with the receiving skills of JT Sanders at this point. Like, it's just not. So I think that, again, I think comparing them to JT Sanders feels like an unfair comparison, but like, Gunnar Helm wasn't the top end threat that JT Sanders was, and Gunnar Helm was super effective in this offense. Gunnar Helm, they were able to hit him on wheel routes. They were able to hit him in space. He was able to be an outlet. I was really like, one of the things that I keep like coming back to in the back of my head is I wonder how much of Arch's struggles are also the fact that he doesn't have a safety blanket at tight end, a solid tight end. That was one of the reasons why I didn't think Arch was going to struggle, because, we thought Endries was going to be that dude at tight end. We thought Endries was the kind of guy that could be a safety blanket for a quarterback. And so Arch doesn't have that quick dump out in the flats for 4 yards. Cause I guarantee you, he hears it at Thanksgiving. You can't go broke making a profit. Like, I guarantee you, he hears it every night before he goes to bed from his uncles and his dad. So like, I would assume he would know that. So not having a tight end that's consistent, again, that's in the back of my mind. I wonder if that's part of the issue.
Well, and the Enders thing is weird because, I mean, he had 600 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns at Cal last year. And Cal, like, he was like their only weapon. It was him and Jay Knott with Mendoza, and that was it. They had to rely on those two guys, and he was good. And then versus Ohio State, he makes that really good catch, getting blasted by the safety over the top in cover 2, and we can't get him the ball. Like, I don't understand. There's not even any opportunities. Like, there's no one-on-one shot. It makes no sense.
Well, he was.
But that's kind of my question. Is it like?
I think it's route concepts personally.
I do too, because like, I just don't think we throw anything where we just like throw like curl combo where you got 2 curls flat, 1 over the ball. Tight end's always over the ball, and then he just finds the space. Like, Gunnar Helm was really good at that. Like, Gunnar is good and was good at Texas because he understands space. Like, to me, like, these guys are having the hardest time understanding like space and like finding the soft space so that Arch feels comfortable to throw me the ball. Yeah, because like when you look at Wingo today, that was what he did. Like, he found open space, whether it was catch and run, and then on that deep ball, he just ran the grass. Like, oh, okay, no one's here. I'm not going to keep running upfield, make this throw further. I run the grass. So I don't know. I'm just like, I would love to see more production out of that position, because I think it would help the entire offense, not just Arch, the run game, everything, because now it changes how a defense comes out. Do they come out with 3 corners because they want a guy who can cover the tight end, or do they come out with a safety because they know he's not a threat? We're more worried about stopping the run. I would rather have the 3rd corner because we actually have a threat out there, and then it's easier to run, theoretically at least.
Yeah. One, it's just so weird because the first 2 weeks he had 4 catches for like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and then he's just gone. He's not even
now
a factor at all.
In the season, he has like 8 catches for like 111 yards.
Yeah, it's
well, and then Jordan Washington's 6 for 104. He's like right there with him.
Yep.
That's wild.
Interesting.
I would love to see more production out of that room, because that could be big.
StockX says, Arch played good. What do you mean? Hitting back at the other comment. Should he be benched? He's not going to be benched due to politics, and he's being paid over $2 million. I mean, yeah, but Andy also played good. Completely agree.
Right.
And he says,
he's a
StockX,
super talented player.
Yeah, I just hope he's good before Georgia in 3 weeks. I hope he's good for next week. I need him versus Vandy.
Georgia. Oh, bro. Vandy is a top 10 football team. Whether you want to
like
admit
top
it,
8 now.
like they are a good football team.
I think the thing with people and Arch is people need to realize that Arch is not going to be Superman anymore, right? Like we all came into season, well, not all, but a lot of people came into the season thinking he's going to be Superman. He's going to be better than Quinn Ewers immediately, because that was all the conversation last year was why isn't Arch playing? He's better than Quinn, which was silly in the first place. You have a guy who's been in the program for 3 years, who is a super talented 5-star guy, of course, NIL, all that stuff, but he's been sitting there developing. You're not going to bench him, even if he doesn't play good like he did versus Kentucky. He didn't play good in that game, but this is the guy of the future. We're not going to win a championship this year, but the year after that, that's when we're going to be going for it. That's when you fix the offensive line. It's when you get more chemistry with Wingo and all these receivers. So the whole concept of benching Arch Manning to me has just been a terrible take for a lot of, honestly, Texas Longhorns fans, honestly.
Oh, it's a god-awful take. We scored 31 unanswered points.
Well, it was even last week too. Like even then last week, I was like, why? He's the guy.
And I think it comes from a fundamental misunderstanding of like what benching a quarterback does. And especially in the like everyone's like, well, he benched Quinn Ewers last year for Arch Manning because Quinn Ewers needed that shock to his system, right? He needed that, like, I'm not playing well. This is unacceptable. Let me get my crap together. When I'm a first-time starter, I need to figure out how to play through that. I need to figure out how to shake it off in game. So if you pull me when I do that, I'm never going to develop that skill. He needs to develop that, like, and this is me getting on my soapbox. I do like talent development for my day job, right? Like Arch Manning needs to develop the grit that I think Quinn Ewers forgot he had in that Georgia game. That's why you pull him, because Quinn's like, oh yeah, I've done this before. I'm the guy who won a state championship on one freaking leg, right? He has to remember that. Whereas Arch has to figure out, how do I get it out of the mud? Because I've never had to do it before. And so it's different functions in these two different situations. So like people comparing this, it's apples to oranges.
Well, and 100% piggybacking off of you and Josh's point, he's never been, look where he played high school football. He's never really had to go through this. So he has to grow some thick skin and help him get better mentally in that aspect. And then on Josh's point, okay, cool. You throw Matthew Caldwell in there. Let's say Matthew Caldwell's 10% better. We win one extra game this year. Cool. Now you just blew up what you had with Arch Manning to win one extra game this year, in which you were never going to win anything big anyway. So what the hell was the point of that? So
he probably leaves.
Exactly. So it's all this short-sighted bullshit. And what, the number two quarterback is always the most loved guy on campus, always, and it annoys the absolute hell out of me. Can we stop it? Just stop.
I know.
Well, and to that point, I don't think people totally understand what that does to a team. When you see your starter get benched and like for whatever reason, he's not playing, like that kills chemistry and morale in more ways than one, because now if he got benched, I'm one drop pass, one missed tackle, one missed block away from getting the same thing, and I won't be able to learn and develop and get better at fighting through my bad plays and fighting through adversity. If that happens to the top guy, that's a trickle-down effect of all the bad things that can happen to a team. Like, that's a terrible look. Unless, like, Arch will have to go throw 27 picks in 2 games for it to even make sense. Like, he about to do some outrageous stuff for it to like really make sense, because then his teammates would be asking. But for how he's playing now, this is, to me, it was expected. He'll probably end up at like 20 some touchdowns, 7 to 10 interceptions, somewhere like that. That's a pretty good year for him being a first year starter.
He already has 20 touchdowns, 15 passing, 5 rushing, I think.
Boom.
I end up with 30.
I mean, I don't know. The whole notion of benching Arch Manning just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, this is not a 4th-year guy who, like, this is not like, if Mac Jones played terrible for Bama, I can understand benching him, right? But no, Arch Manning's playing good football. He's a developmental quarterback. He's not there yet. Give it time. Let's just stop with that.
Or if you're in a situation like Alabama with Tua and Jalen Hurts, if you're winning a championship, like you have to go win an SEC championship in the middle of the game, he's not playing well. Fine. You're going in a national championship, he's not playing well.
Yeah.
That I completely understand that, but you can't just throw away multiple games in a season where he could grow to go win the Alamo Bowl? Because this team's not winning a national championship this year. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and the other thing too is, I mean, me and B-Ross talked about this in our Tuesday live stream. this is the worst offensive line he'll be behind. At least I hope. This is the worst one.
God knows.
So
God knows. I hope
next
so.
year, when he has a good offensive line, it's going to be night and day difference, his confidence in that pocket, because he's already been through being put in the dirt play after play after play. When that line is actually blocking for him and he has time in the pocket, he's going to look like a totally different quarterback immediately. I mean, it's insane. I mean, like, look, Quinn Ewers in his first year was also not very good very inconsistent. At least Arch has shown a ton of moments of being a really good quarterback. And when he gets the better team around him, when you get some transfers, when you get some development, I mean, look, Texas might go 8-5, 9-4 with a bowl game, something like that. I think that's a very positive season given what we've seen from this team. And I think heading into next year, feel pretty good about ourselves.
I mean, when push comes to shove, like my wife was talking to me about this. She was like, I thought Texas lost more games based on how mad you've been about football this year. And like, that's what we have to keep in mind. Like, Texas right now is still very much alive in the SEC championship race. And they've played like absolute trash can water for the entire season up until the fourth quarter of this game. So like that to me is like the perspective that we have to have. It's like, this is a team that's still pretty young, that's learning how to win, that's learning how to deal through adversity, right? They've got to work through these things. And ultimately, like I've said this before and I'll say it again, like Nick Saban broke college football by being able to do this year after year after year after year.
It's
like
hard.
This is not what it's not what it's supposed to be. Like Kirby Smart's probably the best head coach going right now. And again, they've had their struggles, right? They're not as good as they were. Like that.
Yep.
This is how it's supposed to be. And Texas is still very much in a situation where if they get their crap together, Black Friday could very well be a play-in for the SEC championship. Like, we have to keep that in mind. Like, they have been bad, and they're still basically tied for first in the SEC at this point.
Very good point, Gerald. Like, it's all about perspective. And, like, I don't think people realize, like, a lot of guys who are on this team did not contribute to anything last year. Like a good number. Like, you have a handful of guys who were big-time contributors. Whether offensive defense,
Hill, Muhammad, Taft, that's about it.
Right? Like, I mean,
Burke and Simmons, maybe.
Like, you have a very small number. So everybody else these are first-time starters and like consistent playing time. Like, this is all new to them. Learning how to win is all new to them. Like, so to Gerald's point, like, we have to like manage the expectations, like just be real. Like, I didn't think we would look this bad in so many spurts, but I didn't expect a lot of clean football just because of how young this team is. Like, we're talented as all hell, possibly, but they have to go do it every week. And like, that's what they're kind of learning. Like they're learning right now that like this week now means absolutely nothing. This whole game, this whole win means absolutely nothing. Now it's about next week already.
Fandy.
Yep.
Well, and the thing is, we got to change. Like, we've watched the team, so we're allowed to change our perspective on the team now. Like, going into the season, we didn't have any films, and we just looked at the talent. We said, "Oh, this team can do this." But now that we've seen them, we agree. Like, they're not a national championship team, but they might be a playoff team. They might be able to get there. We'll see. But overall, I mean, this is how I look at it too. Look at the top three teams picked to win the national championship. It was Texas, Penn State, and Clemson. 2/3 of those teams are done. Like, 2/3 of those teams are done. So that's how I look at it. Like, we're still fighting. We're still competing. Like Gerald said, I really think it's going to come down last week. I get a weird feeling. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but that's what I think is going to end up happening.
Well, and Matthew, you and I talked about it in our season preview. Part of the reason why Texas was the preseason #1 pick is because of exactly how the season is shaken out. There's not, outside of maybe Ohio State, a far and away buzzsaw team. And so if that's the case, then you pick the team with the most talent, right? So like, this is, we kind of alluded to it without really knowing it early in the season. Like, this is, everybody's saying like nobody is good this year. There are good teams. You just can't helmet scout this year. It's that weird year. It's like 2007 where you can't do the helmet scouting because the blue bloods are having some of those struggle games, right? But that's fine. It's when college football is fun. But ultimately, to the point I was making, like, this is the kind of year that a young team like Texas that's supremely talented, if they get hot at the right time, things can spin in the right direction, right? Like, and that's what I hope this fourth quarter turns into.
Well, yeah, I mean, college football looks.
All I was going to say real quick, like before I came down here, Stanford was beating Miami 7-0 at halftime. Like that's the year that it is in college football. So I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I'm just going to be straight up honest. Texas could win out, make the playoff. I don't think they'd win the national championship, but do I think they could get hot and make it? Yeah. But do I think that's going to happen? No. But again, I don't know what's going to happen because I look around the country. I'm like, okay, who's good? I think Ohio State and Indiana are good. I don't know who else is good. I don't. I think there's 2 good football teams and then a bunch of 3 through 40 can beat each other any week of the season. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Alabama almost lost to South Carolina. Like they were trailing with 2 minutes left in the game. Like it is a year where anything can happen. And again, that's why Texas had all the hype on them this year, because nobody knew who the heck anybody was. And Texas has a pretty high talent ceiling. So again, it's all about just, they've grown through this. You said it preseason, Matthew. I think this is probably the year before the year, but this kind of year is crucial to having that year.
College football is going to look like this for a long time because of the transfer portal and because of NIL. Like, it makes for a better, more competitive product when one team can't just load up on talent, how Bama did for so many years. Bama was always good because Bama always had the best players. But now the best players are going everywhere, and it's showing. That's why when you really look at it, it's Ohio State, Indiana, and to your point, it's everybody else. 3 through 40, like you just don't know week in and week out. And hell, this was the same Texas team that gave Ohio State their best game. Like we still could have won that game. And that was our very first game with Arch Manning at quarterback. So, to your point, Matthew, like who's to say that we don't get hot, make a run, and then we play them again at some point? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's just, it's so many variables in college football right now, and I think it's really good for the sport. But when you talk about expectations, undefeated seasons are like probably not gonna be a thing because Ohio State still can't beat Michigan for whatever reason. They can't beat the team up north. Oh, we're better. We're ranked number last week of the season.
Win a game.
Last 2 years. Can't beat them. They're winning our championship. Yeah. Can't beat the team up north. So
when that's the thing too, like India and Ohio State are going to play each other in the Big Ten championship game. So there's only going to be one undefeated team again, just like last year going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any thoughts on the Sarkisian thing that happened this morning? Where they were like, oh, he's going to go to the NFL. And everyone's like, oh, Texas has to look for a head coach. Lane Kiffin coming to Texas. And then right before the game, all the representatives were like, no, he's going to stay at Texas. Any thoughts on that? Because I think there's probably some truth to it. I wouldn't be surprised if he has interest in going to the NFL because, frankly, I don't blame him. Being a coach in college is brutal, but
it didn't come out for any reason.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
It's definitely some truth to it. I just didn't they probably don't think that it would have came out. Whatever conversations whoever was having got leaked or like messages, like whatever happened and it got leaked. But there's probably some truth to it. Probably does want to go to the NFL. Like it's like your workload's a lot less.
And then they said like he wanted to go to the Tennessee Titans. I was like, whoa. But you'll be
No,
fired in 2 years, my guy.
Yeah, have
No, he
fun with
doesn't.
that.
I mean, Jimmy Sexton is not doing his job if he's not floating Sark's name out there for, and like that's what that guy's job is. Like, and ultimately, like you talked about it earlier, B. Ross. Like coaches are egomaniacs, and they want to go and see how high they can compete. And like I don't fault Sark for wanting to have those aspirations, and it's part of what makes these guys good at their job because they are sociopaths, like functioning sociopaths that think that they can put they can succeed at everything, and that's okay. Like that's part of what makes him great at the job. And ultimately, like I mean, Sark is a master gaslighter, and I say that in a good way and a bad way because like he came out was really like fire and brimstone in post game talking about how one report and people can run with it. Like it is what like it's fine. Like it's overblown. It is what it is. Also, don't bring Lane to Austin. Don't do it.
No,
I think Pete Kwiatkowski would be the head coach if that happened.
No,
I don't think he wants the job.
Yeah, I don't think he does.
You don't think he wants $15 million a year?
I don't think they give him that though.
Nope.
Why not?
Because
I would rather have Pete than Lane Kiffin. That's what I'll say.
No,
because I'm looking at this from a recruiting perspective as well. That you get to tell all those defensive 4- and 5-star guys, hey, same coach is still here. We're going to hire a new offensive coordinator. We're going to have the same personnel, same coaching staff. I don't know. I don't want Lane.
I mean,
that's for sure.
No, I think Lane
Nick
has
Saban.
a ceiling. I don't think. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, I think that's who the number one target would be. I think they'd throw a gigantic contract at him, say, "Come to Austin." I don't think he'd take it, but I think they'd offer it.
I don't think so either.
That'd
be great.
But on the
Lincoln Riley
too. Yeah. Oh God, no.
Ooh.
But
I don't hate that one.
Jimmy Sexton also responded and said that's not true. So that was interesting to me because if
he did say that,
because if it was about leverage, he wouldn't have said anything. So I find it very odd, honestly. I think Sark kind of put that out there as like a message to the fan base, like you don't know what you have. I think that's really what it was. Like you don't know what you have to the point.
That would be great.
I really think that's what happened. Because why would Sexton come out if you wanted leverage? You wouldn't say anything. He came out like 2 hours later. Was like, nope, not happening. Not what we said.
That's true. Well, he still should give a play call. I don't give a damn.
Oh
what
yeah,
he's talking about. Go get an OC who this is like just go get one, bro. Like and like my whole thing is he can literally still design plays because he does a good job. But have your offensive coordinator call them, and you just manage the game. I would love to see that because coaches who do both, they don't win. Like you sent that graphic, and then if you take that same number to the NFL, it's less. It's Andy Reid, and
I think Fire Dog had a really good comment. We talked about Lane Kiffin 16.5. Maybe this is just Sark trying to get leverage for even more money. He's like, I make 14, 15 now. Maybe let's see if I can get 20 out of Texas.
Listen,
but that's the thing too. Like, why did Sexton come out and say no? Then that's the thing. I don't understand.
Maybe just it was right before the game as well.
Politics.
Yeah, maybe
politics. Because I mean, with that rumor that Kiffin's getting that and hasn't done crap in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Like this team makes it to the playoffs and wins a game or two. Pay me more.
Right now, Sark is only making 10.8 according to ESPN.
First off, only is crazy.
Oh, well. if Lane Kiffin's getting 16 and a half, I mean, what are we talking about? That's what, 50% more. So,
yeah, no, I agree. I'd bump him up.
That's my guess.
I'd bump him up.
Yeah, but I mean, Lane offenses are great.
Ziggs just got what, 12? Ziggs is the second highest paid,
11.
right? Second highest paid.
He got 11
head coach in the country. Nuts.
11 per year.
Sarkisian,
but
they know what they're doing there. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
Get that increase.
Okay, just hypothetically, number one, like realistic candidate. If he did leave, we'll do this and then we'll end it. But realistic, I can't believe I'm about to say this. Eli Drinkowitz. Look what he does in Missouri every year. Yeah, every year at Missouri.
Nah, B.
That's what I'd go with.
My two would be, of course, Pete, and then my other one would be Kenny Dillingham. From
I like him too.
But my number one would be Pete first. PK.
I like what Clark Lee's doing at Vandy.
I do. I just I don't know.
Is anyone going to say James Franklin?
No, you got to.
I was
just
get over the you guys.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw out a name because he's a Texas guy. He knows the state in terms of recruiting. Eric Morris. If he was to leave this year, I would go get a young, talented, offensive-minded, heavy Texas recruiter because you need Texas still. And like, if guys can't recruit Texas, you can't win. Like we said. Herman, Charlie Strong were both so-called great recruiters, but they couldn't keep talent in Texas. So my vote would go to a Texas guy, Eric Morris. And they would have to pay him.
Morris.
No, God, no.
Joey McGuire, you want to steal him from Tech just to continue to piss those folks?
Yo, hey, he is one of my favorites. He can recruit.
He can recruit because he got money.
And when they give him money, he's paid.
Who is
Joe's
that?
Crazy.
Joe is Texas.
True, that is true.
Got money.
But they be throwing bags, more of the bags in Texas for these 5 stars.
They ain't throwing a bag like Texas Tech, man. Jerry Jones is out there funding that thing.
Tech needs like 2
5
stars a year. That's all they need. Texas needs 4.
That's it.
Right. So he can double our bags for these 5 stars. What was the tackle that got like
He
4
paid him.
Felix Ojo.
Yeah, like Texas is
Yep.
not going to pay him that much. They can't. I mean, they can
Gerald, you
afford
like
it, but
this
they don't want to.
Get Art out of
Let's go. Beer and shoot, baby. We're gonna score 40 points a game and be 11-2 for 7 years.
I will.
Come on, Gerald. Come on, Gerald. Come on, Gerald. Come on board.
Man, I've got
We can
so
always
many.
go get Jerry Sandusky out of prison.
Yo. All right. Show's over. You mentioned Browse and Sandusky in the same sentence. Yep. Show's over.
Okay, guys, please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. That was Texas beating Mississippi State post game. Follow me right there on X if you want some more of that comment right there. Gerald right there, as well as his Blue Sky, as well as his Longhorn Pod on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, iHeart, wherever you find your podcasts. This is Josh at his X and his YouTube channel. Go and check that out. And this is B Ross right here, Instagram, TikTok right there. And also you can check out Josh and Brandon every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, and Gerald and myself every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. And as always, guys, hook 'em.
Hook 'em.